Welcome. I'm Crime Queen. If you are joining us for the first time, this is the channel where we have fun with words and numbers, numerology to be precise. This is where we are actualizing self-full love. Of course, I'm sure we all have other areas and avenues of actualizing self-full love, but this channel is dedicated to helping us find ways, instruments, resources, words, and just pathways to actualizing self-full love, particularly numbers. So as I say, we can use numbers to really we can anchor on numbers. For instance, if you were to see the number 5 and remembering that Mother Eve is 5, which we are 5, or the 5-pointed star, that which we are, basically its head, the two hands, and the two feet, that would be the 5-pointed star. So you are the 5-pointed star. So we can then, instead of um, generating our energy to the external representation of driving minimum speed of 5 miles per hour, we could have something pertaining to ourselves, in that I am grateful and thankful that I recognize that I am divine star. I am the divine star shining my light in the earth. So we could have something like that, just an affirmation. So that is the purpose. In fact, really, every time we are seeing something on the external, to give ourselves the opportunity to go within and really ask ourselves, how can I use this to strengthen or become more conscious, strengthen myself or become more conscious, whatever, or become my best version, however you see fit. So there we are, going back to we have been exploring Genesis. Of course, we are exploring Genesis with the notion of getting a deeper understanding of Mother Eve and how Eve and Adam, this is Adam in the back, and this is Eve, Mother Eve. Of course, this is the sacrifice template that we work with, and it constitutes water and revelation. In fact, I would like to call Revelation into helping us in these presentations to be able to extract the meaning of the scriptures and see how it has impact on our lives, see how we can have reflections that are purposeful, in that they help us grow and become better versions of ourselves. So if you're new to this, I have many templates that we could really look at, templates to actualizing self-full love. So as I say, this is Mother Eve, and I can give you a quick illustration of how this template works. Okay, so just putting back some of these letters that has disappeared. So I have really arranged or manipulated some of the letters in accordance to get in the column in a way that I can remember. So instead of having the A, B, C all in sequence, like the 26 letters, I have actually got the columns, the appropriate columns, manipulated in some sections. And that was intuitively done, which has been helping um, has really helped as we go along, so we can see the power of intuition. So here we call this jazz number 1. This is where we do our jazz. This is the bucket number 6. This is the two colors. So we add 2, 2, 2, 3 twos are 6, and so we go along. So each column has a common denominator, of course. And then we have luck. This is meaning luck. This is development, new, Fox, Gypsy Journey, Headquarters Zone, and Inland Revenue. And that has helped us to understand our position on any of these numbers. For instance, if we are on number 7 and we are on Gypsy Journey, this is where we are associating ourselves with God after creating everything in 6 days and taking the seventh day of rest from His works. But having rested from His work, it's not saying that He wasn't taking into consideration the admiration of His works or appreciation of what he had done, or culmination of understanding, well, all right, these are things I have done, and really addressing his progress and being thankful or being grateful, or whether whatever it was. But really, this is what we do when we're on a journey, taking stock of what has been done and to say, okay, it is finished, this is ended, I really have nothing else to add to this. So to be able to do that, you really go over what you have done, what you have created. Okay, so just to uh, update you on what we have done so far or where we've left. We have looked at words of current being current, but being current in the sense of understanding where we're at as well with the scriptures. This is where I want to really concentrate. Again, if you're new to this is a representation of ourselves as Mother Eve. We are dots. That's the message we need to remember. We are dots. But dots equal 13, and 13 coincides with the word that when God said to Moses, I am that I am. Okay, and I feel that that has given us, that word has given us great insight to the depth and significance of who we are. So just to continue on Genesis of chapter 1 verse 2, and the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep. So the deep would be, let's see the significance of deep, which is, in my understanding, I believe it really means that the waters were so deep as the feminine god, and the waters were so deep that it looked dark. It's like, for instance, now, I just had this thought as well. The depth of something, it's usually what is, that is really interesting. So, for instance, we see the blue sea, or the sea looks blue. It's really not just because the sea is blue, but it's reflecting the sky. So the sea, the blue sea, blue, green, turquoise, whatever, sea always reflects the sky, SKY. So I am now thinking, if darkness was upon the face of the deep, if it was said that darkness was upon the face of the deep, that meant darkness was in the sky. Yes. Yes, it would mean that. It would mean that that would be what was reflecting on the face of the deep. So, who was looking on the face of the deep? God was looking on the face of the deep. This is serious. Now, I am doing this intuitively, and I am feeling that I have an obligation to go to what is being revealed to me. I am also with the notion that I have a responsibility for what I am putting out there, and so I am not taking this lightly. So I do also urge, if you're watching this, of course, as I say, your own your own understanding, your unique um, element that has been deposited in you, like all of us, for who you are, what you need to do, who you need to become, your growth, your path is divinely guided in accordance with what is you are being exposed to. So you, of course, take responsibility for what you make of these that I'm putting out, but I am going with the notion of what is being revealed to me. Okay, so, and I'm speaking experientially because I grew up in the Caribbean, for instance, and near the ocean. So I always had this um, experience of knowing that when the ocean is blue, the sky is blue, if it's turquoise or it was clear, depending on the shade of the sky, you could make you could see the shade of the waters. So when we are told that darkness was upon the face of the deep, and darkness was upon the face of the deep, that would mean that there was also darkness above. Whatever was reflecting on the waters would have been dark. So we have been associating the waters here with darkness. And of course, waters is 5. But there we see, for instance, darkness, which I have just done, darkness equals 10. Darkness equals 10. Adam equals 10, for instance. Hell equals 10. Man equals 10. And heaven equals 10. I might have said heaven already. But waters equals waters, WATERS, the waters equals 5. Now, darkness was upon the face of the deep. The deep. Let's see, the deep. So as I say, I associate the deep with the waters, but that can still be open to question, to debate. So this is 10, 17, 17, and 4 would be 21. 21 is 3. So 3 is what I like to associate 3 with the feminine or with the feminine, but it also means when we speak of Christ, we speak of the sacrifice or the Last Supper. It also means bread. It also means um, bread, blood, vibrations. When I do the numerical value for vibrations, the different vibrations, it would be 3. 3 is, would it be life? Life is 5. I think live, LIVE, or live. Let's put it this way. This is 3, 9, 4, 5. So 9 and 9, 18, 19, 20, 21. So we had a, so to live is 21 or live is 21. So this would be the deep in essence, would represent something, would represent life or live or live. Something, yes. Okay, that's all English language. But it means vibration here. It is denoting there is something that is a vibrational element in the deep. Deep is denoting some kind of essence here. Okay. Now, just for instance, well, I was just seeing if there was another word I could make out of that. All right. So basically, we can conclude here that the darkness that was upon the face of the deep, there was would have been God in this sense, or the light had not come about, because in the 3rd verse, this is where God called the light out of the darkness. So basically, the light also derived from the darkness. Light is 11. I have done the numerical values for these in several presentations. So light is 11, and 11, of course, equals Jesus. And also coincides with the word created, which is the fifth word. This is where we started. The fifth word of the first verse is created, and it equals 11. So we could see created in itself coincides with light here. So God calling the light out of the darkness, He called it. That means it was existing already, or it was there, and He called it. He called it into being, into, do we say existence? He called it forth. He called it to the surface. So the light, He called it out of the darkness. So basically, we have these two vibrations that came from the darkness. So the two vibration, of course, in our addition, we say 5 and 5 is 10. We say that because we see man equals 10. But 5 here. So let's look at how 5, the position of 5 on our template. So 5 on the template here is in the middle. This is where it is said, when you are in Christ, you are a new creature. All things are passed away. Behold, all things are new. So here we have this, and it would seem like I am trying to understand whether we can also say that Eve was ever 10. Oh, this is really amusing. Okay, but we know the light came from the darkness. I have done other presentations that also show how Mother Eve and Christ is really one and the same. They carry the same vibration when we do the numerical value for the words. Okay, so darkness and light. Let's see how when God called the darkness out of the call the light out of the darkness. And of course, this is the thing, it was on the face of the deep, and the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the deep, or the face of the waters. This is it. So the Spirit of God moved. So Spirit, this is it. I'm trying to see where the 11 comes into. So the Spirit, in addition to darkness, because Spirit equals 10 and darkness equals 10. So basically, 10 and 10 together, we have 20. Or if we say we add 11, 1 and 1 is 2. But it's basically saying everything must find a vibration like itself on which to attach itself to really come into manifestation, to bring about something like itself. And this is what has happened here. So there, the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the deep. It wasn't where He called the light into being yet, but we see that the Spirit of God, let's see, and the darkness was on the face of the deep, and the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the deep. So Spirit is also 10. So this is 10, darkness is 10, and Spirit 9992. So this is 20, 37. 3 plus 7 is 10. So we see how darkness and Spirit got together. So basically, that would mean the darkness, which I am associating with what would have been the reflection of God and His Spirit, so moved upon the face of the deep. So basically, we could say that in numerical values, there was two elements, the darkness and the Spirit. So that moved upon the face of the deep. So there we have the waters, as I say, upon the face of the waters. It's upon the face of the waters. So the movement here would be 3:21. Hence it is said you can change any behavior in 21 days, because 21 is that free vibration. And so the darkness and the spirit moved upon the face of the deep. Okay, face of the deep, or the deep, is getting the the words in order. But the spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters. Okay, the face of the deep, or the face of the waters. But we know that the waters is 5, which we have seen the waters as Mother Eve, but the spirit and the darkness becomes 2, which coincide with the word created. Now, the word created, that coincides with the word created, that has the numerical value of 11 as the 5th word of the scriptures, which coincides with waters, which is the numerical value for waters. So we can see how 11 is also 5 with the 5th. We see the relationship with the word created and having the numerical value of 11 and being the 5th letter. So we could call that, or the 5th word, we could call that a numerical value of 7. We can also call spirit here, and darkness, which would be 2, and waters here with the same numerical value as 7. There we can see where it is as if having 2 sets of 7, which of course coincides with the many presentations I've done to show that 7 and 7 is 14, which coincides with Mother Eve. All right. Do join me again, because this is 21 minutes and I would like to really try and explore this and to see how we can make sense of this, because what I am seeing is in these scriptures, it is not quite clear yet. It seems to embrace or have all the elements or all the factors of what we need to break down to seeing, is there really one God in this scripture here? Or, and if there is, are we associating this one God with the man that we knew was in the sky? He's no longer in the sky and he went through to being the one who got crucified. Or is there two gods, like saying the waters, acknowledging Mother Eve as the divine feminine that had been there from before it is said that God created man, or even before God said, let us create man in our own image and likeness. Basically, I am seeing with my understanding that when it was said that God, the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters, in this second verse, I am associating the word waters with the divine feminine, because it is clear that the waters had been into existence before. So I hope you have enjoyed this. I hope you have found this enlightening. Do join me again on the next episode. We could say, I say episode, that really shows how much TV I have been watching. But the next presentation on Genesis of chapter 1, and I hope you have enjoyed this. Do like, share and subscribe, because this is how we do it, to actualizing self-full love. Stay blessed, stay bright, be a field, be ignited, because we are planting new seeds, and spill over with love. Namaste.